Hello. Alright, this video is about how to do placement now using the new placement report for MTT math courses. Okay, as you can see, I've already logged into Math Magic Land. That'll be your first step. Go to your Blackboard site, log into Math Magic Land, come and select the MTT developmental courses on the left here. And then the Math History and Placement Report is at the bottom. So we'll select that. And then you'll have to download the file, okay? Now I'm not going to do that because it's a pretty big file. I don't want to waste the time on a video. So once you've got that file open, what we're going to do, I'm going to open it here. The file looks like this, all right? It's sorted by instructor name, and then by catalog number here, section, and then by student name. Okay, the thing that makes this kind of a challenge, this placement, is that there's really 4 different kinds of pieces to it, all right? There are 2 different types of placement test scores and 2 types of class history. So let's talk about the placement test scores first. All right, we're going to look in the test ID column on the report, and you're going to see the older style of placement test scores from what used to be called the compass test have an HCMP here in the test ID field, and then something comp and then description. The description tells you which test it was: pre-algebra, college algebra, or trigonometry. For our purposes of the MTT, we really only care about the pre-algebra and the algebra, because if they pass the college algebra, then they're not taking MTT classes anyway. All right, so let's go over to the report and look at this. So here's the test ID field, all right? And if we scroll down here a bit, we'll see, these are HCMP. So this student took the older style test, and you see this particular student took the algebra test, got a 22, took the pre-algebra test, and got a 26. All right, it's usually sorted lower and then higher for some reason. All right, earlier test, later test, lower test, however you want to say that. Now, this column here in the score tells you how to interpret those numbers for each test score. Okay. Now, the newer style test, in the test ID column, that same column, they all have the HVCCS math placement thing. So if you skip out the H, it's really VCCS math placement. Well, see, so that all the newer test scores will have like that in the test ID column. Okay? And these are the ones we're going to be mostly working with, working with for the MTTs. See, this one says CS math placement. This test actually, if they pass it, it tests them out of all the first 5 modules. And then there are others that say like CS D1 fractions, D2, D3. And what these are is tests for individual modules. All right, since they didn't pass the one to test out, they got the individual test. You can see this student got a 0, did not pass the fractions. 1 means they passed the decimals. 0 means they did not, right? So passed, did not pass module 1, passed module 2, did not pass module 3, etc. Okay, so you can just read those off. So for us, it's either going to be one of these 2 here. Okay, the placement 1 or the placement 2. Placement 1, if they 101 or more, they tested out of all the first 5. Placement 2, 101 or more, they tested out of all 9, and they really shouldn't even in your class. If they don't pass one or both of those, then they get tests for the individual modules, see D1 through D9, and a 1 means they have credit for this. Now, the one other thing you might see is a D0, okay? This is the only student that goes in module 0 is if you see a D0 and it's got a 0, it means they do module 0, right? Otherwise, they're not going to do module 0. most students won't even take this D0 test. What happens is if they do really poorly on the placement, then they take the Module 0 test. Then if they do well enough and get a 1, then they still wouldn't take it. But if they didn't do well enough, they'd get a 0 and they'll be at Module 0. Okay, so that's the two kinds of tests, the older style, and in this, we'll be dealing with the pre-algebra and the algebra for the MTT classes. Now, we also have history. We have math course history, so these are courses they've taken. If they took one of the older style courses, then this here tells you what they get credit for with the modern modules, okay, the newer modules. The other kind of history also, there's something shows up in the test ID field. If you'll notice, there's a different one for each module. HPRS, MTT, actually there would be one for Module 0 too. I haven't seen one yet, but I'm sure there's some out there. HPRS, MTTU, and then the module number. Okay? And 75 or better is a passing score, whatever's in this description field. Less than 75 is not a passing score. Okay? So let's go over and look at that. So test ID field again, okay? And you can see like down here, we have the HPRS. Actually, PRS is Pearson MTT Unit 1, Pearson MTT Unit 4. All right. There's an 82. So this student passed that one. 83 passed that one. There's a 20. That was obviously not a pass. Okay. That is really all you need to know on the report. All right. So you can check between their older style placement test scores, possibly their newer style placement test scores, or their history of either type, which modules they have credit for. And then you work with them to see what they need, and what's left is what you're working on with them. All right, if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Hope you have a great semester.